I mean by White House. And also we had 40% of the world's internet content was actually going through XLS data centers. But the point I'm trying to make here is the uncertainty period. From the time you start the company to the time you really hit that curve where you have repeatable sales, you have customers, whom you're winning based on the product that you have, right, or services that you have. That was about 3.5 years, the uncertainty phase. So just bear that in mind. Yes?
Did you have any venture funding during that?
Yes, we did. We did. Somewhere here, we got the first round of funding. Yeah, in fact, that's what led to building other data centers. Yeah, in fact, that's there in the next slide. By the way, I'll give these slides. You guys don't have to take the notes. I'll share these slides with you. Yeah. So, yeah, if you look at, this is where we had the Series A, $3.5 million of funding. And once again, because we were not known, even though we had revenues at this time, okay, we literally gave away 50% of the company in that round. So to raise $3.5 million, our pre-money valuation was $3.5 million. And at $7 million post-money, we gave up about 50% of the company. Right? So let me take you through this very quickly. All that I'm trying to say here is how you see the repeatability. Only thing is, product is this is a product company, whereas the previous was a services company, right? You can actually see similar kind of path, excepting somewhere here there was a bubble burst. So the company had to go through re-engineering and repositioning of the product, right? Whatever technology that we had built was to primarily solve the internet growth issue. That's the reason as to why NetScaler was born. And the growth completely went away. In fact, I still remember back in 2001, after we built the first generation of the product, I met with the Chief Technology Officer, CIO at Charles Schwab. And I'm trying to pitch to this guy that, Mr. Customer, here is this NetScaler technology, this is how it works, blah, 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 that stuff, and, we can help you reduce the number of servers by 8:1 or 10:1. So he pulled out a chart for me. And he said, Mr. Jagadeesh, the projections that were made in 2000 for our business is this, right? So if 2000 is this, so 2001 is that and 2002 is that in terms of number of transactions that were going to happen, right? It's literally, it is hitting that hyper growth curve. So I have to plan my infrastructure to support that kind of growth, right? Where I'm supposed to be here. And then he showed another chart which basically said it was like 1/10 of even 2000 demand, right? The curve had completely taken it downhill. And he said, I have so much of servers that is left in my data center. If you want, you can actually take some of my servers. I don't need to save any servers. So what do you do in that case, right? You have built, you have spent about $30, $35 million in building a company with a great technology. And you hope that this is when, you're going to hit the market and then you're going to start winning customers. The whole market has collapsed. So we had to go back, reposition, not only reposition, actually we had to re-engineer the product. So almost for a year, we went back and we reintroduced security and compression algorithm into the same product, and we reintroduced this product in the middle of 2002. So during that time, the decisions that we took were so critical. See, this is where The leadership team is so important, right? Because I could have basically said, in fact, a lot of people were telling me at that time, why the heck you're going through this, you know? I mean, 2 to 3 years, just relax, take it easy, stay on the beach, right? Wait until the market comes back. Just return the money back to the investors, whatever money that we had in the bank, return the money back to the investors, and relax for a while and come back in 2003, 2004 timeframe once the market comes back. But we didn't believe in that. I mean, there are 50, 60 people who are employed, right? And we believe that there is a value in your technology. There is something that you could do with it. So we cut our expenses. That is when we opened up India. We opened up India to continue the innovation, and we had 50, 60% R&D in the US and another 40, 50% in India, so that we continue to have that competitive advantage, right? And we re-engineer, reposition, and reintroduce the product in the middle of 2002. So went through, you know, some of these changes as well. We hired the first VP of sales, we got rid of him, and then we brought the next VP of sales at the time when we really had a good traction, and look what happened after that, okay? So similar to the Hotmail, we won WebEx this time. WebEx was the turning point in the history of the company. So point here is, as you build your company, you need that one big customer, a recognized name that gives you that push. Because that customer is your reference customer, that customer is the customer who validates your technology, right? He's willing to speak to other customers or VCs or whoever it is, right? That is when Sequoia got excited. In fact, Sequoia, which is one of the top venture capitalists in the world, they looked at this and said, holy cow, you know, if you guys are winning against Cisco and Altion, Nortel, which was part of Nortel, if you're winning against these big companies and winning these kind of customers, there's got to be some meat behind what you're doing. That's what triggered the interest for Sequoia. And I went through the whole due diligence process, and eventually we got funded, end of 2002. Any questions so far? Yes?
How are you able to get to WebEx?
How are we going to win? How did we win? Yes, very good question. Very good question. So we had, it's very interesting actually. In summer of 2002, we actually had 3 MBA students whom we got them for very nominal internship salaries, and we assigned them to do cold calling. Okay? So we wrote the script, and we assigned these guys to pound the phones. So one of them was an absolutely aggressive guy. He actually built a lot of exciting stuff on the script that we gave him. It's fascinating. Just to get the attention of the person who is listening on the other side. And you know, he opened WebEx, and he also opened Google. This is an MBA student, right? Just like, you know, our Swarupa, right? So one MBA student, aggressive guy, and he worked on the script, but he created his own. Without modifying, without altering the original content. So obviously he added a lot of juices on top of it to get the attention of the listener. And once you get the attention of the listener, then the listener says, okay, I'm interested, you know, why don't you come and make a presentation? That's all it is, right? So once we go, we know we can convince these guys. Honestly, this is the path we went through. And that's what led to. And we went to WebEx, and WebEx, you know, went through like 2.5 months of evaluation process. And the most important element of this is, I still remember the dates very well. This is like middle of September. WebEx basically came and said, look, I like your technology, I like your solution, I like everything that I'm seeing, but I need this one extra feature that I've been asking Cisco. And by the way, WebEx was a Cisco customer and an Altion customer at that time. I'm asking these two guys to deliver this feature for me, and they have not done it. If you guys can do this, then I'll buy your product. So I turned around to my engineers, and this was so critical for us to close this deal by the end of that month, which is the end of the quarter, right? September 30th is the end of the quarter, and this is happening like middle of September. So we have about 2 weeks' time. So looked at the engineers, guys, can we turn this around and offer this feature to this customer? So they went back, in less than 24 hours, they came back and said, yes, we can do it. And they worked day and night to get this stuff in front of the customer on September 29th. And by the way, we made that as a condition to the customer. We said, we'll work on it, we'll deliver this. If we deliver this to you by the end of September 30th, would we get a PO? Customer said, absolutely. If you show this to me, if you demo this to me, I'll give you the purchase order. And 29th September, we set up a meeting. I was actually watching. And the damn thing just worked, like, as we wanted it. I mean, even today, these guys, they're not with WebEx anymore. They're somewhere else. Even today, I can pick up the phone and call this guy, and he will listen to whatever company that I'm working for. He will give me the time. That's the kind of trust you build. I mean, he just loved the engineers. He said, I've never seen the engineering force in this company as good as, anywhere else. Incredible, actually. So these are the kind of things that change the path of the company. Of course, after that, we won a lot more customers. Right? We won some incredible customer base. If you look at the customers we have, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, all the names that you think of became NetScaler customers. And we had almost like 75% of the world's internet users who are touching the NetScaler product. Right? On every day when you go to the internet, you have to go through the NetScalers. That's the kind of customer. Literally, 100% of Google, 100% of eBay, 100% of Amazon, 100% of Walmart.com, almost 80% of Yahoo, right? Singtel, WebEx, all of these large customers